Go. Welcome back to Independence Showcase. I think I was just going to say a couple of weeks ago, we filmed with another referee, funny enough, a couple of weeks ago, Katie Crosby. And I said to her, it was the final episode of Independence Showcase. Sorry, Katie, I lied. It's not. We have actually, full disclosure, we filmed two other bonus episodes that one of them has gone out today at time of recording, which was Pro Wrestling Valor over in Scotland. And another one that we filmed after Katie was Atomic Wrestling, which goes out next week on time of recording. But joining me today, I had so much fun with Katie as a referee, and being a referee in wrestling is always a lot. There's always certain different things about being a referee than it is being a wrestler. So I thought, let's get another referee on, and we're joined today. So you got big shoes to fill. My guest is Mr. Ross Cowling. How are you?
I'm good. I wish people would stop booking me after Katie because the shoes to fill. There's no way I can fill those shoes, man.
He is
Honestly.
he's
How was
tremendous.
your interview with her? Because she's so much
Put it
fun,
this
isn't she?
way, it was so good. She's coming back on to do another. So we do a separate show called the Top 10, where we
Mm.
do. I just filmed it actually, funnily enough, yesterday. I filmed another episode yesterday with a former dart player called Paul Nicholson. Um, and we done a top 10 of people, the top 10 of wrestlers that have never won the world championship. Uh, Bearing in mind it wasn't, we missed out NWA, although it's the oldest wrestling company in the world, we missed them out. But Katie's doing the top 10 oh my god moments with me,
Oh, she is.
which I thought would be a lot of fun. But anyway, welcome, Ross. Go back onto you. I mean, Ross, look, we're sort of nearly in, believe it or not, 4 months nearly into the year now. 3.5, I suppose, at time of recording. How has 2025 been for you? And what do you think of, well, what has Brit Rest been like in 2025?
For me, rubbish. Absolutely been rubbish because I was out of action from end of November up until I think it was like sort of mid July, Jesus, mid
Okay.
January. Um, so I was out with my bad back
Uh-huh.
because I did something to my back and it just completely went. So for me, it was a rubbish start to the year because I had to like miss out on a couple of promotions and stuff, and then did I think I've only done a couple of shows since then because then I got hit with that nasty flu that's been going around.
Yes.
That
Yeah.
wiped me out for about a good 2-3 weeks. So I missed I think it was like a BWR show. I missed like a North show and everything like that. And then everyone's deciding to have big birthdays as well. So my weekends are just jam packed. So I'm not, I feel like I've done nothing. Like I'm going into a show on Saturday and I'm there going, I don't know what I'm doing.
You remember? Yes. Do you remember your job?
What am I counting to? No idea. Got a clue. But no, it's been a bit of a rubbish start to the year. But I think for wrestling as a whole, I think to be fair, by the looks of the way things are going, especially in the UK, is
Yeah.
huge, massive. There's things that are going on with North. They've got a Leeds show coming up
Yep.
that's just been announced. They've got, I'm presuming they've got Thunderstruck 3 coming up soon, I'm sure. I think that's in July time, innit? I think
Usually.
that's coming up.
Yeah.
Um, then big things going across the UK as well. It seems everyone's doing incredible things by
Yeah.
the looks of it.
They certainly are. I mean, I was talking to Atomic Wrestling the other day. They're celebrating their second birthday coming up in Liverpool. I think Liverpool, I'm sure it's Liverpool. Had Burning Heart Wrestling on recently. They just done a Liverpool Manchester
That
double
looked
shot.
really good.
Was it? I didn't. I couldn't get up there, but yeah,
No, I didn't get to see it, but from what I saw clips online, it looked really good. I
yeah.
think that was Greenwood and Scarborough, I think, refereeing that, I think.
Yeah, Scarborough was definitely there. I know that.
Yeah.
But, so congratulations to
Scarborough.
Mark Haskins, by the way, while we're on the now Burning Heart world champion. But you mentioned sort of about wrestling, and it seems as though there's more seats being sold at shows. I keep seeing sellout after sellout, more so than maybe I saw in 2024. And just as a slight aside, Thunderstruck 2 was the day before the show that we put on with Ignite. So every year, us and Ignite do a joint show called Buckle Up, and half the talent from North was coming down to Ignite. So that was quite fun. I'm glad you didn't have an after party because we may have been a little bit. The other funny thing about it was we were stupid enough to book it on the day of the European Cup final. Uh,
Nice.
we sold out, and we managed to get it, which is all good. But going back to what I was going to say, I'm seeing more sellouts than ever before and everything. And I do make me wonder with WWE now on Netflix over here in the UK, do you think there's maybe a little bit of that where people that haven't had maybe access, no, you can get AEW and ITV, I know you can get that, but people that probably watch Netflix more than they watch ITV that see this now and are like, oh, is there any wrestling local to me? And then they see there is, and then they pop down and see it. Do you think it's had anything at all in that, or is it just my imagination?
I think the probably. I think like with myself, I think even now I'm starting to watch a lot more
Yeah.
WWE
Hmm.
just because I've got Netflix and it's so easy now from work
Yeah.
from home, bang it on in the background. In terms of if it's getting people into UK indie shows, probably more of the family shows I can
Yeah.
imagine will start to fill up a lot more,
Hmm.
more so than your probably 18 plus shows. Because I feel like there's already a big enough
Yeah.
crowd with that. Like I think North never fails to sell out. I was trying to think of some of the other 18 plus shows like Rise. They generally always do pretty much like either sell out or do really well, don't they?
Yeah.
But I think the family shows are definitely going to see the increase. I think Zenith, the one of the shows I do up here, I think they had about 250 for their family show in Boburn, which was
Brilliant.
pretty impressive. So I definitely think the more that kids are seeing it, or I mean, to even the parents will be like, "Oh, I ain't seen this in ages. Who's
Yeah.
still wrestling? Oh,
Yeah.
it's the Undertaker every now and then. Or The Rock's back." Like
Yeah.
little things like that are going to massively bring that crowd back in. I think to wrestling, and I hope it's for the better. I hope it
Yeah.
brings a nice fresh crowd. To be honest,
Me too. A couple of new faces, and if a couple of new turn into a couple of new regulars for any promotion, it's always
a
worth
win-win.
it. I do have to quickly ask you before I move on to a bit more about you. A certain wrestler turned heel recently for the first time in 20 odd years. I can't remember how long it was. What was your reaction to that? I've had a few. Different kind of reaction. People saying, didn't really need it. Other people were like, oh my God. It's actually going in my oh my God list, Katie, by the way. But what did you make of John Cena turning heel?
So I watched it
Hmm.
the morning of. Where was I? I was in a bloody hotel in New York. So we were staying over for my wife's 30th. And I remember she was she was fast asleep. I woke up early and I was watching it. I was flicking through because I don't really tend to like watch
Yeah,
everything
yeah,
like full
yeah.
on. Flicked through and I got to it and I was like, nah, surely not. I've heard rumors. I was like, nah, it's Cena, man. You can't do that to Cena. He's the face, he's the kid's hero. And then boom, he did. I screamed, and I think it was like 6 in the morning, and I was like, "Oh God, I think I just woke up the whole hotel." Like I screamed. I was like, "No!" Like I'm not like a massive like WWE fan.
No.
Like I'm not somebody who watches it religiously, and so for them to still get that reaction from someone who's like not an everyday viewer or like a hardcore WWE fan,
Hmm.
that says a lot about what they can still do, especially in 2025 when
Yeah,
getting to shock people is difficult to do nowadays.
it
And
certainly
for
is.
them to do that, oh, big move. I'm really excited. I can't wait to see how it goes, to be honest. I
No, me
just hope
too.
he can swear. I hope he can just be rude. I hope he can just be ruthless.
Well, I hope so. I mean, look, we've got the next 3 weeks for any wrestling fan. At time of recording, I must stress this is at time of recording for those people that are watching. So don't moan if you this when this does go out because it will probably be finished by then.
But it's been the most rubbish run ever.
Yeah, well, no, it's more like because the next few weeks, obviously being on Netflix, we get wrestling the WWE live, and it's in Europe. So, like starting, for example, tomorrow, SmackDown tomorrow's on at 8, 9 o'clock, which is going to be massively benefiting for the next 3 weeks straight. It's all live on Netflix at the time that they're live in the arena. So they're Barcelona, Brussels, Scotland up there, England, and all that. So we get it live, which is going to be great for us anyway. And gutted in America for those that are going to wait if you're on USA.
Oh, what a shame.
I mean, it's not like they don't get it enough. But anyway, let's turn our attentions, Ross, back to you, your good self. Look, being a referee, it's far more difficult than just counting. And you have to count to three, you have to count to 10, you have to count to five if you're on a rope. But there's more to it. Is there a lot about sort of maybe people don't understand about the positioning of a referee in the ring? Because obviously, if there's a pinfall happen, you've got to be right there to count the shoulders. But is it also about positioning in the ring when the action's going on? A, not to get in their way, but to be just to make sure you're in those right places.
Yeah. I mean, It depends, I think, more what show you're on.
Yeah.
There'll be some shows where they might just have the one hard cam, and as long as you're sort of positioned in the way, I think the way that I always got taught is how WWE do it, and it's like your horseshoe.
Yeah.
So wherever your hard cam is, you should be generally facing that hard cam
Hmm.
because your reactions as a referee matter as well. That's the thing. I think, like you say, a lot of people just think we count to one, two, three, whatever.
Yeah.
When in reality, we add that extra little bit to that match, that extra little bit to that storytelling of what is going on in that ring. So we've got to position ourselves where our facials can be captured. We don't want to be going overboard and going at every tiny little thing because that's going to take away.
Yeah.
But those big moments, those superplexes, those finishes that get kicked out 2.999, and then we're like, what the hell? Like those sweeping moments where they can also capture our facial expressions. It's those moments that look good on photos for them,
Yeah.
to be fair. If you get that sweet photo of like, I think there was one where I think it was Sandy, where like, I think she had like a 2.999 and like that sweep that she had and her facial expression with the wrestlers kicking out, like the photo looked superb. Like, and it's those things that just add to the match. And so, like, yeah, the position is absolutely crucial, and the way we've got to be so careful if their shoulders are so like close to the ropes or those things, because fans do pick up on it.
Yeah.
Those die-hard fans will pick up on any tiny little detail. Those shoulders aren't fully down. By God, you will hear that one fan go, eh, shoulders are up, and you're like, shut up. In that instance, like, oh, yeah, or so you've got to be very careful. Yeah. Um, but yeah, just I think at the same time as well, for any new refs or anyone who's currently training, is just always be careful of roaming cameras as well
Yeah.
and photographers. You don't want to get in their way because at the end of the day, it's about the wrestlers in the ring. They do not want to be seeing your legs or you in every shot. Like you don't need to be there straight on their face if it's a submission at the start of the match.
Yeah.
Like you don't need to be literally like amping it up within the first 2 minutes. So it's just being very careful of the ring position and to where you are for that kind of stuff. Yeah.
Talk to us about wrestling training a bit. Because I know you've done a few wrestling training schools, but like, what is that? Because obviously, when you're wrestlers, you bump. You start to learn the bumps. I've done it. You run the ropes. You do all that. I've done it. It hurt. I didn't want to do it anymore to that point. But what is the basis of wrestling referee wrestling training?
So for me, it was a little bit different because for
Okay.
me, I trained to be a wrestler
Yeah.
originally. So I was in a position where I was a bit luckier than other refs. So I already knew how to bump. I already knew how to take certain moves and everything. So I was in a bit of a better position. But for a lot of referees, for us in the Northeast, we're very lucky because we've obviously got rampages.
Yep.
Um, and we've got Northern Grafter as well with Howard and that lot. So we're very lucky that we've got two different big wrestlers who are able to give us that time that we need to be able to ref matches and practice. So a lot of the time, like with Rampages, he incorporates it into his normal sessions. He'll
Yeah.
always use us. So me, Katie, and Rich, we're used all the time. So even if the wrestlers are just running basic drills, he'll always try and incorporate a pin or
Mm.
submission. So at least we're involved, and it helps the wrestlers.
Yeah.
Like it gets them used to it. Like a lot of those wrestlers now know how to use a ref. They know how to use us, and that's a massive win. So at least like when we're on the shows in the Northeast, they know they've got someone that they can work with. Um, Other wrestling trainers, I think very similar because I think you've got like Future Shock where Greenwood does all of his
Yeah.
training. I think he does regular like monthly sessions and stuff. But I think now a lot of them are doing like their actual sessions on a Thursday. I think they do, unless that's changed. And then you've also got like Scott down in Grimsby at Evo. He occasionally pops in and helps and supports them and everything. Um, so yeah, a lot of it is just literally just getting in the ring. Just get in the ring and just be a presence because it
Yeah.
helps them as well as you. Um, but yeah, that's pretty much for training. I mean, I think as well, it's just try and get involved. Like you say, take those bumps because you're gonna have to in the ring at some point. You're gonna have to take that spear. You're gonna have to take that suplex. You're gonna have to take that stupid move that someone wants to give you at some point. It's gonna happen. And my God, does it happen? It sucks. But yeah, that's the thing. Like, you don't want to be that ref that goes, "Oh no, I'm not doing that."
Mm,
If it's like shoving a corner
yeah,
or something little, like you want to add to that match, and the only way you're going to be able to do that and you can do it properly is practice at training.
yeah,
That might sound stupid, but if you go to your trainer, whoever it is, and just say, "Look, do you mind if I just practice some bumps?" It's going to help you out massively on how to sell it. Because
mm.
even though I know where's refs and we just go, "Oh, we fall down," or it's that cliche of we just take the ref up there where we just sort of flop in the corner. Like there's still you still got to do it safely, and you
Yeah.
still got to take the moves safely. So just practice, just go to wherever you can and just get that practice. Absolutely. Um, yeah, and learn to take the big moves.
Yeah, I was going to talk about a ref bump after we segued, so I'm going to wait and I'm going to segue off now. Again, full disclosure to everybody, some of these questions I did put to Ross prior to the show going on, much like I did Katie and everybody else that I've had on the show that takes part in these questions. Well, actually, not always. Sometimes I leave it, but for you, for your graciousness, Ross, I did tell you before some of them anyway before we went on air. The first question I'm actually going to ask you isn't one that I gave you before, and it's actually to do with what, it doesn't have to be a certain year or anything like that. But if someone said to you, Ross, you've got to watch one pay-per-view, as in one pay-per-view, not a year, just a pay-per-view,
Mm.
what one are you choosing?
So I'm presuming we're talking like WWE and stuff, aren't we?
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, it can be Brit
Oh,
Rest if
yeah,
there's a
I'll
Brit
do that.
Rest thing.
Yeah. I think one pay per view that will always stand out to me is oh goodness, it was when WWE I think started doing their like generic. No, it was SummerSlam 2009. I want to say
Okay,
the main event being Jeff Hardy versus CM Punk. I think TLC match,
right.
and that was sort of like my reintroduction to
Okay,
wrestling because I'd always watched it because my brother is much older than me. He's
yeah,
7 years older, so he'd watched Attitude Era.
yeah.
I was never allowed to because I would always be sent to bed, never allowed to, but I'd always sneak down. So I'd always know like The Rock,
Yeah.
Mankind, those kind of wrestling stuff. Rey Mysterio, I'd loved because I
Mhm.
loved like the mask and stuff like that. But then obviously growing up, I fell out of love because it wasn't cool when you were in
Yeah.
school to like wrestling and all that stuff. And I think that somehow I don't know how on earth I ended up watching it, but I think I just stumbled on like a YouTube clip and I was like, oh, I'll watch that. And yeah, I fell in love as soon as I saw Jeff Hardy with his face
Okay.
paint and the armbands that he used to have, like the purple and white little
Yeah.
armbands that he'd thrown to the crowd. I brought myself a pair of them when I was like 12, 13 in my emo phase. I wore them everywhere thinking I was so cool like Jeff Hardy. Oh, God. Yeah, that was the pay per view. I think that because I think it had like DX versus Legacy as well,
Probably. Yeah, it's probably
and
around
all
that
of
time.
that. Yeah, I think it was around that time where like Shawn Michaels was coming back, and I was like, oh, this is so cool seeing all this stuff. And I think it was like the tank where they came out in the tank
Yeah.
and stuff like that. Oh yeah, that's. I don't think it was the greatest in terms of wrestling,
No.
but it will always be that one pay per view that I can watch back and be like, yeah, this is what got me back into it, and I love it. I love it.
There you
And I think
go.
it's the one where Jeff took the massive swanton off the massive ladder.
Jeff
Yeah,
Hardy
that's
taking
terrible.
stunts. No.
Yeah, nah, never, never. Who is this guy, Jeff
No.
Hardy? God.
And it's great to see him in a great place right now
Absolutely.
after everything. It's great to see him. I'm hopefully, as we are TNA Media, and if you are watching anyone from TNA Media and you want to send the Hardy Boys my way, I'll be more than happy to accommodate Matt and Jeff or one of the two for a period of time on the show to talk TNA, NXT, or whatever else. Anyway, let's move on. One of the questions that I always ask, especially a referee, so you're going to get it now. Um, what was the greatest match that you've ever refereed in your career so far?
I'm really stumped on this one because I feel I'm very lucky slash blessed in the way that like I do ref for some of like
Yeah.
a big promotion with North and the BWR and stuff like that. So I'm trying to think of like what I've refed. And it's not like a ego thing. It's just I am the worst at remembering. I was trying to think. I'm sure there was a. The thing is, right? If Katie was on this call, she'd be able to tell me straight away what one of my favorite matches were because she knows more than I do, and it's so insane. Um, I would probably go north, 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 north. What have I ref? The one that I keep. I've refed. We might need to come back to this one because otherwise I'm going to be sat here for about 5 minutes trying to think.
Let's come back to that one, and let's go to
Come
another
back
one
to
that
it.
I asked you. If you could referee a match with, let's just say, I don't know, fatal four, where you get to choose four. So I'm giving you four people in a ring. You're refereeing. Who are they?
Are we talking more Brit Rest
Anything you
or
want.
anything?
Combination, WWE, Brit Rest, AEW, TNA, whoever, NWA.
Oh, so I suppose like all-time fantasy booking would probably be the likes of Jeff Hardy.
Mhm.
I'm gonna hate myself for saying this, but I did really like him when I was younger. CM Punk.
What's wrong
Ugh.
with CM Punk?
I don't know. I don't know. It's one of those people that you just love to hate, but hate that you also love him. But to be fair, he's incredible at what he does.
Yep.
I don't know. I don't know. I
Don't
feel like
hate
I'm still bitter about how he left and he broke my young heart.
what WWE in the first place.
I was such a fan of him.
Just don't
But
use real glass around it.
so Jeff Punk. Who else? I'm trying to think of more older. Probably Rey Mysterio
Yeah.
because that would be cool. I'm not a massive old wrestler guy, so I'd probably have to go with sort of Shawn Michaels,
Okay. There you
early
go.
2000s, I think.
So you got Michaels, Ray, Punk, and Jeff Hardy.
Yeah, bit of an odd fatal four way, but
I don't know if it's odd. I think it's a fatal four way we'd
yeah,
all like to have seen
as I said to there,
back
when
in
we're
the
all in the
day.
peak of
Gee,
prime.
I mean, Michaels could probably still go now, to be quite honest. Punk can certainly still go. We've seen. I
Punk
mean,
still
if you
go.
watched Raw this week, you saw a great steel cage match.
Oh,
Mysterio can still go, obviously,
yeah.
as well. But all right, I'm going to leave. I'm going to let you come back to that last question in a minute, but I'm going to give you one more question that normally stumps a lot of people on here. What as of today, as though today could be different to tomorrow, what is your top three wrestling theme songs?
Theme songs, No More Words by Jeff Hardy. 100%. Got to be on there.
Love that.
Um, oh, I always liked Undertaker's. Oh, bugger. Is it Dead Man Rolling one?
There's Dead Man Walking. There was Limp Bizkit where it was Keep Rolling. There was Dead Man Walking, which was Keep. There was sorry. There was Limp Bizkit Keep Rolling. There was one after it was like a Dead Man Walking. You're gonna pay. That was it.
Yeah, that one. I like that one. Does it have to be a wrestler's theme tune or could it be like a pay per view theme tune?
It can be. Go for it. If it's one on there, go. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Oh, now I'm trying to. There was one. Is it a No Mercy theme tune? Jim John was it Jim Johnston that did it? Oh, it's like a really slow No
Yeah,
Mercy.
it was called No
Yeah.
Mercy, and it started off with a little guitar, and it was like you done it
Yes.
now. You've made a I had a dream last night. Something, something, something. No mercy. I'm
Yeah.
gonna have no mercy on your soul. I think it was that way, right?
Yes.
I'm
Yeah.
not
That
gonna
was
try
always
and
one
even
that
sing
pops
it,
up.
but I remember it. Yeah, you came to me in a dream last night was the first part of that song, and then
Yes.
it goes into No Mercy. I'm gonna have no mercy on your soul.
Yes. That's
That's
always one that like when it pops up every now and then when you stick on that WWE playlist in the car.
yeah.
That's always like one of the ones that like, oh, so
Yeah,
good.
I love that. They got, I can't remember, they got me in, actually, funny enough, I think WWE actually got me into Skillet, the band.
Yes.
You remember
They
Skillet?
are. They ones who did Monster.
Yes. Yeah, they
Yeah.
got Heroes, another good one, Monsters one. There was another one, and I can't remember it now off the top of my head. But yeah,
They were
they've done.
class,
And obviously,
yeah.
Saliva done some great songs for WWE as
Yes.
well.
Sifa as well, I think, was another
Eva,
one. I
yes, yes,
think
yes, yeah,
tonight or something. Yeah. But
yeah.
yeah, to be fair,
Sifa, yeah.
WWE's got me into quite a few decent bands, which I'm very grateful for.
And obviously, Alter Bridge for
Oh, the
Metalingus.
bridge, yeah. I've
That's
not
always on
listened
my
to
list.
much of like their other stuff, to be fair. I only know about
Uh,
one.
there's a one that's called Coming Home, I think, because there was rumors that Cope, as he's now called, when he was going to come back from, I think it was one of his later injuries, not the retirement one, the one before, that he was going to change to I'm Coming Home. That Coming Home, it was called from Alter Bridge. It was still the
Hmm,
same. He never did, but it's a good song. It's a really good one.
yeah.
But yeah, you should
I
listen to
always
it.
remember his Hall of Fame speech where he got me into Bloody Foo Fighters
Yeah,
with Walk.
yeah,
Such a good song. Oh,
yeah.
I've
I
not
was.
looked back.
Was I at that Hall of Fame? Yes, I was. Yeah, yeah, I
Was
was
you
at
at the
that Hall
Hall
of
of
Fame.
Fame?
I've
Oh,
I've been quite fortunate. So I've managed in my lifetime, I've managed to do five WrestleManias and four of those in the Hall of Fame. So it was 25 when Austin went in. I've done that one. I can't for no, we couldn't do 26 because so I was wrong. 26 was when I spent time with the Neidharts and the Smiths, Bret
what
Hart's.
is your life? It's
Um,
incredible.
27, I'm sure that may have been Edge or Shawn Michaels. I can't remember. It was one of the two. 26 was
27, I think, was Edge
27,
one.
yeah.
That was when it was. Oh, was it 28?
I can't remember. It was one of the
Yeah.
two. It was one I was there for 28. 27 was HBK because he
Yes. And then
retired at
Edge retired
26.
the following year, didn't he?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So I've been lucky, and one of these I'll show you pictures. One of these days, I've had very lucky to meet people like the Undertaker and people like that. So it's always been it's always and I've met Edge, which was good, and he signed my rated R title, which is even better because the only other person that had signed it was Jeff Hardy. And every time I had a chance to meet Edge, it never happened. And finally, he actually done a Comic Con over here because he was doing was it Haven he was in or some television,
Yeah, that sci-fi show on it or whatever. Yeah.
and he was over for that, and I was like, you're in London, mate, there's nothing there's one thing that
It's
you're
really that
signing.
championship.
I had to take it, and he did, funny enough. But yeah, so mine was Edge would always be up there for me. I like the Triple H one where it starts with the King of Kings and goes into the game. If you've ever heard that remix, that's a
Yeah,
good
wasn't
one.
that one of his WrestleMania ones? I think or something, wasn't it?
Probably. He's had so many
Yeah.
good ones. Do you know what? Even his old one, My Time, was really good that he had during the Attitude Era. That was a good
Mm,
whiff. An underrated one is Billy Kidman in WWE. If you ever, I don't know if I think
no.
it was like you can run if you want to, but you can't hide. Again, I'm not going to sing it, but if you ever, maybe Google it or something or
I just
YouTube.
had Billy Good in my head though with
Yeah.
Ass Man.
Oh, yeah.
That's
Did
a great
someone
song.
say that on a? I can't remember if someone put that as a. Yes, Atomic Pro Wrestling. When I asked them that question, I think it was Che who does the announcing because there was two of them on there. It was Che, and I'm sure he said "Arse Man" was one of his favorite songs.
It's a great song. I forgot about that one, to be
Right, back to
fair.
that additional question, one I left you on, which I can't remember.
Yes.
Your
Think
favorite
I
rock?
remember now, finally. Yeah, no, I think it would be, if my all-time favorite would have been recent-ish. I think it was like late last year. At
Yeah,
North, it was Mikey D versus Miles Kamen. And as much as I hate to say it, because he's pain in my backside is Miles Kamen, bless him. Those two put on one hell of a match. And to be fair, I think it stole the whole show on that show at North. It was absolutely incredible. And the thing with like me and Miles is I think we've got that good relationship between ref and wrestler now,
yeah,
where he sort of knows how he can push me and how he can use me.
yeah,
Um, and so we had a good spot of where we typically do like the whole pushing thing with each
yeah,
other and stuff. And we do the whole 2.99 being gets in my face, it leads into something like just those little, when we did that at North, the crowd just ate it and they just loved it. And the pop was amazing. And I think I even got a little cheeky pop myself. I think the crowd had a bit of a crowd chant over us. I was like, yes, get in. But no, it was phenomenal between them two. And Mikey D is ramming out.
Ah, he's amazing.
He is something else, isn't he, that man?
Not surprised that he won Gut Check. I'm surprised TNA haven't used him yet. That's the big thing.
Did he?
I'm
I
sure he
didn't
did.
know
Harley
that.
Hudson won the women's. I'm sure he won the men's. I'm sure it was him.
Oh,
Maybe I'm
I've
wrong.
not used him yet.
Maybe.
Bloody hell.
I might have to use Google here while we're on this. I'm sure Mike D won gut check. I am well.
Did Slater just get signed?
Slater just got signed because he's Slater.
Yeah, fair. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
No, I
the
wasn't
winners
there.
of TNA's gut check, Mike DeVecchio won, and Harley Hudson. So he is TNA gut check winner. Why on earth that they have not
Harley's
used
not
him?
even been on SJ, I don't think.
No, not yet.
I don't. Unless they're just training him. No idea. But yeah, nah. Oh, God, it was such a good match. I loved it.
There you go. So you
Absolutely loved
finally
it.
got the answer. You
Finally
finally
got it. See, I told you. I'll remember eventually.
finally.
But
Finally, I put the question. But Russ, look, we're going to start to wrap up. But just quickly, before we go, I wanted to talk about the ref bump because you mentioned it. Obviously, helps that you were a wrestler, right? But do you remember that first ref bump that you took? And was it a perfect ref bump, or was there a little bit of an issue?
my first ref bump, what was it? I feel like my first ref bump would have just been like one of those normal, like, you're in the corner, you get hit, blah, blah, blah. But then since then, after, I think it's because I'm bloody with Scott a lot of the time that I end up becoming the, the his protege of taking bumps. Like, it's a nightmare. I remember one, where was it? It was at a Prime show, and it was Mickey Limerick versus, I can't remember his name now, but there was a spot where I get pulled out of the ring, I get beaten up on the floor, they do shenanigans in the ring, blah, blah, blah. I get them back in. One, two, big kick out. Oh my God, I crawl back up. Oh, I'm injured, I'm injured. And then I think like Mickey Limerick, no, the other opponent goes up to give a crossbody. Limerick pulls me in, I end up taking the crossbody. I was so scared for that because I was like, oh, you guys are big guys. Like, and there's us me, that's just scary. But no, that was probably one of the coolest bumps I've taken because it was just like a slick bump, crossbody, nice. It looked great. Another one I always remember was BWR. I think it was using all three of us. So it was Scott, me, Katie. Scott was doing the main. He gets taken out by Scotty Rourke with a black mass.
Hmm.
I think I was waiting for chair shot to happen.
Yeah.
I run out, grab the chair. No, you're not, you cheeky bugger. I get in. They do a little bit of wrestling. The rest of one, two, kick out. Scott gets in my face. And it was supposed to be a DDT. No idea what it was. I messed the DDT up somehow. But like he kicks me, I go down. I was expecting like a quick, like 2 or 3 seconds, like sell it. Oh, is he gonna do it? No, it was just a straight kick, boom, DDT. And I think on this video, all you see is my leg just sort of flying in the air like a donkey kick. And I was like, oh, Ross, what are you doing? But that sucked. But yeah, I think they're the only two. And the rest of them, I've been quite lucky that most of my ref bumps have just been either I get punched in the face, get taken out in the corner. I think the biggest one I'm fearing is a spear. I haven't taken a spear yet. And some people have told me it's nice and it's fine, but it depends who you're with.
Well,
And I just know, knowing
North,
my
if,
luck.
if Andrew from North is watching this, Ross wants to take a spear.
No, I do not want to take a spear of
Next.
ours. No, I do not.
Bring Mike D in for a spear.
Jesus. Oh, where's Ross? Is in hospital for the next 2 years.
Ross, as we start to wrap up, look, can you what have, if you're it shows that you're coming on up recently, and if you are available for bookings, where can promotions reach you?
Absolutely. I think the one I've got coming up is BDBR in Grimsby on Saturday. No Gods, No Masters. And then I think coming up, we've got a North in April. You'll often find me at places in the Northeast like Zeniths. I think Prime's coming up in May, which has a good lineup coming up so far. We've got Saxon Huntley. I think we've got Joseph Connors on that. And then we've got like things like Full Tilt, which is absolutely amazing. I think they've got a show coming up, a tag team tournament in April, May-ish time. But yeah, always taking the bookings when and where I can. So you'll find me on, oh God, where will you find me on? I don't know, my socials. I want to say Ref Ross C.
Yes, that's correct.
Yes, yeah! Got it right. Yeah.
Did.
So that's where you find me. I think it's both the same for Twitter and Instagram.
Mhm.
So just hit us up on there. And if you ever need us, I can travel. I can bring other refs and wrestlers down as well. So absolutely.
There you
Yeah.
go, everybody. Make sure you follow Ross. Before we go, I've now got Ross. You can take a breather. I've got now. We have enough air in my lungs to do promotions. Big thanks to again Rob Van Dam recently for coming on. That was a tremendous interview with Rob. Darts star Matt Edgar did join me on that as well. I know he had a lot of fun with Rob Van Dam. So again, big thanks to RVD. Big thanks to Paul Nicholson, who again another dart player who come on for the top 10 recently. Been on the top 10 wrestlers not to win a world championship, and there was some interesting names on that list. Coming up soon, if you're a fan of the Attitude Era, you will know Gangrel. He will be coming on the show. So I'll have an interview with a vampire too. I interviewed a vampire recently with Shelly Martinez, and now it's Gangrel's turn. Also, will be coming up soon will be Candice Michelle will be on the show as well. And of course, Katie Crosby is coming back for the Oh My God moments. And I will be interviewing a daughter of a Hall of Famer. That would be the daughter of the big boss man, will be joining me on the show very, very soon. Obviously, boss man can't join us for obvious reasons, but his daughter can and will be joining us soon on the show. And finally, just two more things before we go. Number one, uh, May the 18th, Ignite Wrestling, the last stand. Our champion is going to show up. Yes, the turnbuckle champion has decided that he's going to come back after throwing a strop in November because he didn't like the fact that we wanted to book him against some of the best talents in the country. So he decided to take his belt and go and wrestle in Noah for a couple of weeks. Mark True is back May the 18th, and he will be defending the Turnbuckle Championship against number one contender, that being Aluna. Also on that show, Tommy Kyle defends the Ignite Championship against the debuting Joe Kessler. And there's a triple threat breakout match. And I'm going to remember the three names in this now, which is going to be interesting. Callum Beck will be making his debut. I know that. I know that will be going against Bart O'Connor as well, making his debut at Ignite. And forgive me, I'm sure it is. It is. It's the big man himself, Tall Tom Mercer, or Tiny Tom, depending on the fans like to call him Tiny Tom when he's nearly 7 foot tall. So that should be fun, fun and games on that. There is, I mean, limited. I mean, this is out in May. The tickets are already, I think they're down to less than 40. So go on to Eventbrite. 96 Eventbrite, just type in Ignite Wrestling The Last Stand and you'll be there. And then finally, September. Way, you've got a long time yet, but trust me, that will come around really, really quick. What is so important about September the 21st, you may say? Well, that is Buckle Up Free, the trilogy, the final one, the joint promotion show between Ignite and Hitting the Turnbuckle. We've done it last 2 years. We've sold it out the last 2 years. We're going for the trilogy, the trifecta, the third one. Hopefully, the last one will be sold out as well. I can't tell you who's on the show. Ross, you may get a little glimpse after this, but I can't say anything because I am fond of my genitalia. And that's right now. But anyway, that tickets will be going on sale in July for that. So just wait on that, and you'll be able to get your tickets to come and see Buckle Up free. But Ross, it's been fabulous talking to you. Thank you for taking your time out of your evening to come and chat some stuff wrestling with me. I may be in a show that you'll be on very soon. Who knows? If I am, I will definitely come and say hello. But if I don't see you, hope the injury holds up well, and good luck for the rest of 2025.
Thank you very much, sir. It's been an absolute pleasure and good luck with all the shows coming up. It sounds like it's going to be a interesting one.
It should be. It
All the
should be.
best.
And of course, we're getting near our 1,000th piece of content that we put out in just shy of 3 years. Crazy, mad, ridiculous. That's all. That is us. But we've had some videos from people that we've had on in the past being sent across. I can't play them yet. I'm in the process of putting it together, but there's a nice little package coming up for that for the 1,000th piece of content. So keep an eye on that as well. However, to keep an eye on us on social media, HTT Buckle on X, HTT Buckle on YouTube, Hitting the Turnbuckle podcast on everything else. There is too many stuff. There's too much socials going around. But again, this has been Independent Showcase. He has been referee Ross C. I'm going to call you that from now on. I have been your host, Adam C. And until next time, everybody, buckle down, stay safe. Good night.